We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I never knew there was a place to go where my spirit's thirst.
Hello, and welcome. Good afternoon, and welcome to Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women, coming to you live from the LA Talk Live studio in beautiful Los Angeles, California, where we're blessed to have a little cool weather at long last. I'm Dwan Smith Fortier, your host for today, and whenever I host the show, I'm always dealing with the topic of exploring crises which test our faith. Exploring crises which test our faith. And we are happy to have you join us on the World Wide Web, on Facebook, on Ustream or iTunes, YouTube. We are there. So I am so excited today to have in the studio with me an incredible writer, playwright, producer, lyricist, songwriter, kind of a mother to all of us, a crack the whip to some of us. And I'm going to introduce her name in just a minute. And also an incredibly well-known author. I mean, a real author. And so we're going to talk to them in a few minutes because the thing I'm excited about is not only do they have those titles, they also carry the title of Women of Faith. And that's what makes it so good. As the lead host of the Sisters at the Well, Barbara Perkins says, when you think of this show, we want you to think of The View on radio in sepia tones. We expect to enjoy ourselves, but we want you to enjoy listening as well. We also invite you to call in during the show and join in the conversations because it is a conversation with women about women, and we're going to get you the number. Please get your notepads out and jot it down. We are at area code 323-473-3100. Oh, I hear somebody running to get the pad. Okay, here, I'm going to say it to you again. Area code 323-473-3100. So call in if you have something, and if we don't answer the phone right away, if we put you on hold, don't think we're being rude. It's just because we're in the middle of a conversation. I don't want to interrupt my guests as they speak. But hold on, don't hang up. We will get to you, I promise. And I guarantee you that today's conversations will be lively, exciting, a bit edgy, but spiritually exhilarating. Internet radio at its best. If you're listening, you still have time to call someone and invite them to listen to us and to join us at www.latalklive.com. So, ladies, I just want to thank you so much for being here with me today. And I'm excited about this.
Thank you for having us. We're glad to be here.
So we are happy about this. We have here Proverbs 18:16 says that a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before the great. And you two are certainly living proof of that. In fact, Paulara, you know, I looked at your resume, and this is Paulara Hawkins, who is Paulara R. Hawkins, who is the producer of this fabulous play, She Who Finds a Husband, which is going to open next Thursday. As a matter of fact, next Sunday at this time, we will be on stage. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
And so, Paulara, you have such an extensive resume, and so do you, Joylynn, until I'm going to let you introduce yourselves to our listeners. Paulara, you're the producer, so in the pecking order, please introduce yourself to our radio audience and tell us a little bit about if you can just do a little bit, that's almost impossible. You have 3 or 4 pages.
Well, my name is Paulara Hawkins, and I am and always will be a writer. But for this project, I'm a writer and I'm a producer, and I'm learning how to direct as I watch our amazing director, Marilyn Sue Perry, go in and direct this group of people and bring from them things I could not possibly imagine doing. So a little bit about me. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
All right.
I've been living in Los Angeles for some time. I used to be a comedian. I'm a published author and now a playwright, and I do short films. So I am a Renaissance woman, we'll call it that. I do a lot of things within the arts, and I'm glad to be working on this project with my great friend, Joylynn Ross. And if we ever get an opportunity, and today we're going to say how we met, which was the most yes, we'll talk about that.
You're looking over my notes.
Because the way Joy and I met is a book. We should write a book. We should write a movie on how we met.
I'm going to have you share that with our listeners because they're taking notes. And it's interesting how this came about because this truly is a collaboration. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Joylynn, please tell us about yourself.
My name is Joylynn Ross, and I write under the name of blessed-selling author E. and Joy.
I love it.
I used to be a secular author, and I wrote under Joylynn Jostle, my maiden name, and I wrote under the name Joy. For each name matched up with the different genres. So I used to write chick lit and some erotica under Joylynn Jostle. And then I used to write some street, urban, hardcore, gritty lit under the name Joy. And then I went and got saved.
Oh, hallelujah. You're reading another one of my questions. Yes.
And you know how it is when you let Jesus into your life.
Absolutely.
You can't do some of the things you used to do, go some of the places you used to go, say some of the things you used to say. Well, I could not write some of the things I used to write.
Yes.
So I do.
So she writes it.
I still write it. And I write under P.R. Hawkins. You can find me on Amazon.com under P.R. Hawkins. And I write all the stuff that Joy can't write. And then I call and talk to her about it. And she said, girl, I can't read that. So the rest of y'all read it. Joy can't read it, but y'all read it. I got to pay my mortgage.
Right. I might read it, but you know, I can't write it. And it's a choice, but it's just, as writers, we write what we know, we write what's around us. And so when you change your lifestyle, you begin to write about that. So I couldn't write about those things anymore because now I wasn't in the world, I was in the kingdom. So I began to write about the kingdom, and I wrote under the name E. N. Joy. Everybody needs joy because everybody always asks me, what's the E. N.? Everybody, E, needs in joy. So enjoy.
Wow.
And I want you to enjoy my work as well.
Oh, we do. And just to let you know a little bit about Sisters at the Well, since it's your first time joining us here, the Well serves as a metaphoric gathering place for women to talk about the things that are going on in the community, to exchange information like we're doing here, recipes, womanly advice, and yes, a little juicy gossip every now and then. And so today, as I have you here at the Well, I'd like to I usually say draw some wisdom from you, but you've already given us a bucket of wisdom. Let's just draw some more wisdom from you. And I love hearing your resumes. And you kind of touched on one of my questions here because I wanted to know that with your resumes that I got, you have extensive background in the secular industry, but you also are now known, whether you have decided or not, you are a gospel play producer, and you are a gospel play author and playwright. So I'd like to know, why have you chosen to focus on faith with your work? And were you ever pushed in a direction that went against your faith and your beliefs?
Every day. But I want to address your first question.
Okay.
What happened is Joy has a series of books called the New Day Diva series.
Yes.
And within that series of books, there are 8 books in the series, Joy.
It will be officially 9 this coming Tuesday.
When the book comes out, what's the name of the book?
I Ain't Me No More.
And that's coming out on this coming Tuesday. And each one of those books is a Christian fiction book. Now, what happened is I was at a play that I thought was horrible. I will not name the play. I was coming home and I said, I've got to call Joy and tell her that I saw the worst play ever. As I was calling Joy, Joy was calling me to
Wow.
tell me that she had seen a horrible, horrible play. And we were calling. Now, she was in Ohio. I was in Los Angeles. Our phones connect. We're dialing and it just hit, and we're talking
Wow.
about the play. So we were sitting there going, we can write a play. We're writers. We can write a play.
Wow.
So we were trying to figure out what we were going to write. And we said, girl, we can't, Joy said, girl, we can't write none of your stuff into a play because won't nobody come because everybody be naked. And I said, well, they might come if everybody's naked. And she said, no, we can't do that. And I said, well,
So
don't
under
you?
the mantle now.
Yeah, I said, but don't you have those books, those Christian books? And she said, yeah. I said, let me read one. So I read one of the books. And I said, Joy, we could turn this into a play.
Uh-huh.
And she said, really? So I said, and she said, I don't know how to write a play. I said, you're a writer. Writers write. That's what we do. We write. And Joy said, well, girl, I'm working on my other book. You turn it into a play. So I took the book.
Wow.
And I turned the book into a play. And as I was turning it into a play, I said, oh, we're going to turn every last one of these books into a play. And we're
Yes.
going to find somebody out there with some money, and we're going to videotape these, and we're going to sell them in Walmart. This was my goal. My goal was to follow the Tyler Perry paradigm that he had
Yes,
established.
yes.
Because when you have books as good as Joy's, that lend themselves to being stage plays that could easily be something on television, that could easily be something in the movie theaters.
Yes.
Because even though it is a book, it can be all of those things. It can cross over the media hurdles, and we can do any genre with these books. So how did we write Christian fiction? It was there. Joy had already written it, and it was easy to take that and turn that into a stage production because
So-
she had laid it out.
So you accepted a divine kind of commission to do something that you had not really done before, but
Yes.
because you are a writer, you said, this is not too big for me. I can do all things with God. All
I can
things
do
are
all
possible.
things. I can
Yes.
do all things. And since we started this, things have just started falling into place. I'll give you an example again. Yesterday, we needed curtains. We needed curtains for the play.
Yes.
And we were like, okay, they have to be 9 feet across and 8 feet down, and they need to be black, and they need to fall within our budget because we have no budget. So they basically need to be free, or they need to be close to
Or
free.
donate, yes.
And we had called, and I couldn't get anybody to donate these. I couldn't get anybody to make these. So I said, Joy, we're going to a place where they sell fabric by the pound. So it cannot possibly be that expensive because fabric by the pound has got to be cheaper than fabric by the yard.
yes,
It's just got to
yes,
be.
yes.
As we walked into the place, what did you say it looked like?
I felt like I was on Project Runway.
Oh,
The store
wow.
on Project Runway. See, I'm from Ohio. We have
Right.
Joanne Fabrics and Michaels, and then we
Absolutely.
stop there.
Were you downtown?
No, we were in Hawthorne.
Oh,
At
really?
this place, and I should know their names so I could say
Thank
it, but I don't
you,
remember.
yes.
But we walked into the place. We couldn't have walked in, and the first thing I picked up, I went,
Yes.
oh, it's black. It's not too heavy. Okay, this. Then there was another piece and another piece. There were 3 pieces. So I picked all 3 pieces up, and I'm walking around the store with them, and we're looking. I said, well, there's no sense in looking anywhere else. This is what we need. I know this is what we need.
Right.
I walked over to the lady at the cash register, and I said, look, we need 9 feet down. We need 8 feet across. The woman measured the stuff, and it was exactly what we needed.
See, God knows.
Exactly.
Remember
it
what?
was exactly what we
Yeah.
needed.
Because God never gives you a vision that He doesn't make a provision.
Yes.
Right.
Even if you spoke to me earlier when we were talking about you just stepped out on faith. And you know what you said was so profound because that's when you step out on faith, then God really, you're just saying, Father, I'm in your arms. I
just
don't
make it
know where
happen.
it's coming from, but He will make it manifest.
Yeah.
And that's why we talk about crises that test our faith. That was one of those crises.
And it just
you
happened.
overcame. Yes.
And then neither one of us knew how to sew. So let me tell you what we did.
You didn't call me. I could have done that.
Girl, we've called on you for so much, but let me tell you what we
no.
did.
Yes.
We got to the museum, and I'm like, I'm gonna get some staples. I'm gonna staple
I love
this.
it, I love
I'm
it.
gonna
Yes,
get some
yes, yes,
safety
yes.
pins. Won't nobody look because it'll be way up there.
That's
Nobody will
right.
see it. And Joy said, oh, we needed some fabric tape. And I'm like, I don't sew. I don't know
Right,
what fabric
exactly.
tape is. And we're at Macy's, and she said, girl, I'm going down to Walmart. So Joy went down to Walmart, came back with fabric tape. We laid the stuff out. Now, I'm arthritic. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I could not get down on the ground. Joy was down on the ground, and she was moving.
Well,
I said,
she was cutting the tape, and I was gluing the tape.
Yeah.
And when you peel the back, it sticks to you.
It looked like I Love Lucy episode. We were sitting there. We said somebody needs to videotape this because we were on the. Well, she was on the ground and I was dictating.
Stuck to the material.
I was like, move this over here, move that over there. And when we finished, we had curtains. And if you walk up in there, they look like curtains, and they don't look like we didn't know what we were doing.
You know what? This is so. This is what theater is really all about. This is what in training and school and stuff, you grow up learning how to take something and make something of it. You know, it's just an incredible thing that we do. As a matter of fact, Barbara's going to kill me for telling the story too. When Barbara was this is the 8th year of Sisters at the Well. Wow. And she has a big award ceremony every year, the We See You Awards. And during one of those years, one of her growth periods, she was facing some of the same financial things. How do you do? She has this wonderful husband, Stanley, who can do and fix anything. We were at my house. She wanted the step and repeat. We were at my house gluing that curtain together and measuring. It's almost as though you were looking over our shoulders, seeing the legacy of Sisters at the Well.
Right.
You see, so all of us, when they say that black women don't work together, that is a lie from the pit of hell. We collaborate, we work together, we share ideas, and that's part of the whole reason that we are here today at having this conversation at Sisters at the Well. It is about this kind of sharing. And when we get back, we're going to talk to you a little bit more, Joylynn, about you and about some of the things that you've been doing. And you know what? I have all these questions. I don't even need this script. Okay, I'm going to tell you about that too, just as we go into the break. I wrote the script. I sat up and was writing the script out because my associate over here, Sabrina, my assistant, was saying, you have to have it in. Van needs it, and you haven't. And, with you guys with the play, I haven't had. So I was up there this morning getting it all out. Do I have everything? Yes. I walked out. I'm in the car driving. Where's my script?
No.
I don't have my script. I don't have my script. But God is so good because he had me type out the questions and make them in black and bold. So before we had computer cut and paste, we had real cut and paste. I was sitting in the car cutting and pasting because the devil is a lie.
Yes,
that's right.
The devil is a lie. We will do. So thank you, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Listeners, and welcome back to Sisters at the Well conversation that we're having here today with playwright, producer, lyricist, songwriter, Paulara, and former comic, Paulara Hawkins, and with the author of the play. Paulara adapted this play from your series of books. And the music that we just heard is one of the songs from the show called Come Go With Me.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you about that because that sounds kind of juicy.
Yes.
And I want to know about where you get your inspiration, because you Paulaira has been kind enough to cast me in the play, and I'm playing a character called Mother Doreen.
We were
And
supposed to cast you. We weren't supposed to cast anybody else.
oh, ooh, God, praise God! I hope there are 50 other producers out there listening to that I have a spot with. But I'm so grateful because she's in charge of the singles ministry, and her work is about finding and putting people together. So, does your overall body of work, do you consider it a ministry?
Yes, I do. Most definitely. She Who Finds a Husband, it's book one of the New Day Divas. And then there's the Still Divas and the Always Divas and the Forever Divas that I didn't know were going to sprout from the original series. I thought I was finished after the 5-book series. That alone was a challenge. I'm not a series writer. You have to be long-winded to write series. I'm tired of a character after the second book. So like, what else am I going to say? So my publisher, who's also my boss, gave me a call and he said, you're going to have to find someone on the line who can produce a series, someone, who has a nice fan base and who can keep a story going, because what we're finding is that's what's selling. Keep in mind, it's a ministry for me, but it's a business for the people writing the check. So you have to remember that.
So there is money to be made in the Christian.
Yes. Yes, there is. You might hear people say, well, I just want to write a book, and if I can just touch one person, that is not me.
No.
I don't write a book to touch one person
I want to
or
touch
to make
all of
one
them,
sale.
all their friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you won't hear that drama line from me.
No.
That's not why I sit down and why I can't go to this school function or take this phone call or watch Scandal. I don't do that just to sell one book. And so it is a ministry, but again, it is a business. And so when my boss called me and suggested I find someone on my line, I said, okay, I know a couple of people who, are pretty good at the series. And when I hung up the phone, God said, it's you.
Wow.
It's you.
It's your destiny. He called you.
Absolutely.
It's your appointment and your assignment.
Absolutely. And the fear in me wanted to say, well, it can't possibly be me because I've never done this and I've never done this. And
see,
but if you just trust him, which is what I did. So immediately I went and began collecting scrap papers from the car, scrap papers from the nightstand, and everybody who's a writer knows what that means.
Right.
When you get that ideal and that thought, you're writing it down on that
absolutely.
McDonald's napkin in your car. You've got your notepad next to your bed, and you are leaving yourself voicemails. And so I just compiled all of those different stories and all the different stories I had started on my computer. And I said, where can I find the common ground with all of these characters and all of these issues? And that common ground would be the church. What makes it the series is they all attend the New Day Temple of Faith. And again, I knew I had this 5-book series ahead of me. So I said, okay, I got to get my ghostwriter. Have to get my ghostwriter in order. And so I'm not ashamed. I do have a ghostwriter, the Holy Ghost.
Tell the
Holy Ghost. I sit and I take dictation.
Yes.
So I didn't have to do a thing but be obedient and let the finger. So I'm on
as your character says, let go and let God.
Amen.
Yes.
So I'm right with the readers. I'm on the edge of my seat, typing, wondering, and God, what's going to happen next? Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't know. But when I wrote secular, I would always outline or write the endings. I knew what was going to happen. I knew what I was going to want to happen. But now I can honestly say writing Christian fiction, it's a lot easier because you let go and you just let God give the message he wants his children, his people to have.
Last month, and I'm gonna repeat myself, during the 50-year commemoration of the March on Washington, Reverend Al Sharpton said something that just has resonated in my soul, and he used the phrase prophetic imagination. And that's what you're talking about, operating under the anointing, that prophetic imagination. Am I?
Absolutely. And as a writer, there's so much up here. And some days I have so much started on my computer, and I would literally just in the middle of just reading an email, break out crying.
Wow.
And one day I was watching Oprah Winfrey interview Jamie Foxx, and she asked him, was he afraid of dying? Was he afraid of death? He said, no. What I'm afraid of is that I will die before I can do all of these great things that I have in my head. And I said, somebody else gets it. Right. That is my biggest fear. Yes. And I will actually sit there and think, what if I die tomorrow? This story is so good. Who would write it? Who could finish?
Right.
And God had to just release. I had to be released from that fear.
That was the enemy, because God does not give us a spirit of fear. And the closer we get to victory, the harder and the more deeply the enemy sticks his talons into us, and the harder he fights, because he knows just on the other side of that fear is what? Victory.
Yes.
Is victory. And that's the lane that we have to operate in, is that lane of victory. And I'm just so excited, because I hope that some of you, our listeners, are taking notes out there, because I know that you as writers and you as producers or artists, as mothers and fathers, heads of organizations, you're given those great ideas, but you also have that little mountain of fear that says, I can't do this. Why should I? I'm not good. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. How many people in the Bible said that I can't do this? I can't do. Esther said, but I can't go to the king. Right. I can't stand before the king. But God gave her that commission to do it. And I think when we submit to our commission, God just takes care of us, and he blesses us right on through it.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And I'm so excited, because in the play, you have a series of 5 books, right? Is Mother Doreen in all of them?
Mother Doreen is almost in all of them, but in the spin-off series, which is still Divas, Mother Doreen got her own book. Because Mother Doreen's the church mother, and she has so much wisdom, and everyone in the church, they just sees her, and they see her light, and they see her glory, just like a lot of the church mothers.
Right.
But they don't know the story, what it took to get to that. So in The Perfect Christian, which is what everyone seems to think Mother Doreen is, she actually shares that story.
Oh, I love it. And when we were talking, because our director asked us to make sure as actors that we had written our backstory. Well, when I created the backstory for Mother Doreen, I talked to you on the side, and I said, I don't know her backstory, but you're the writer, so I don't want to cross lines. And it was amazing how similar the backstory, the real story that you have, and the backstory that God gave me for her. So I just am amazed how God works in keeping us all together in the same thing.
Yes, which is exactly what P.R. Hawkins said. You were supposed to be Mother Doreen.
Well, you know what? I will tell P.R. Hawkins when she says, I was thinking about this morning, her words about, I just stepped out on faith. You probably have no idea what that means to all of us in this production. Your vision has made a provision for you. God says in the word, I will make you fishers of men. You are fishing. You are giving all of us fishing lines and lines to fish through your vision and your courage. It takes courage to do this.
I appreciate that. This has been a remarkable learning experience. We did the play once before as a reading, as a fundraiser for the museum. And we did it as a reading. We had a cast. That was an amazing cast.
Yes.
It was an amazing cast, and it was a good synergy with that particular cast. But they were not available, so we had to go out and look for other people. And I was surprised, and I was shocked, and I was just amazed at the caliber and quality of people that we got this time. Not that our first cast was not good, because when it's all said and done, if I could take 3 of them and 3 of these and put them together, then everybody have a Tony. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But I have been blessed and honored and finding favor, because I get favor. I get people to give us stuff. I ask for it and they give it. Now I'm gonna keep going until somebody give me some money, because that's what I really need. I really need some money.
That's right.
I mean, burritos are well and good, but I need some money. The chicken was good, but I need some money. The sandwiches were good, but I need some money.
You have to put it out there to get it. You have to put it out there. Ask and you shall receive. And let me tell you, what she's talking about is the production of She Who Finds a Husband, which opens this coming Thursday at the Museum of African American Art. We're talking about the play. I want people to know what play we're talking about,
Yes.
where to come.
Right.
It's at the Museum of African American Art, and that's located in the Macy's Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza on the third floor of Macy's. Now, some of you may not know, Paulara, how long did you say that
It's been
facility
there
on the
since
third?
1976.
1976, the Museum of Art. Well, that is where the play is going to be held, and our opening night is this coming Thursday night, September 26th. And the gala reception is at 5 p.m. and the play starts promptly at 6:30. So for the gala, if you're coming that night, so the tickets
Okay.
are $50 for that night, and we need it, so please come.
Yes.
And on Saturday, we run no Friday, but on Saturday, we're again there at 5 p.m. The tickets are then $20. That's Saturday, September 28th at 6:30. And then on Sunday, for everybody who goes to church, there is a matinee. So you can go grab a little bit to eat, come to the matinee at 3 o'clock. And then you'll be able to get home before it gets dark again. So
And that's great. I didn't want to cut you off, Dawn. I just wanted to say a couple of things. When we do the Saturday show, the play starts promptly at 6:30, but the doors open at 5. So you can
Okay.
come into the museum at 5, but the play starts at 6:30. And on Sunday, the play starts at 3, but the doors open at 2. So you have to realize that since we are inside of Macy's, we are regulated by Macy's time frame. That's why we have to start at 6:30 to be out of there no later than 9 p.m.
And it pays to show up early because the museum has some
wonderful
beautiful
art.
artwork.
Absolutely
Artwork.
wonderful art.
Yes.
So we just want to emphasize again, we really want you to come. She Who Finds a Husband. It's so much fun. And you said you were surprised at the caliber of people you got. Well, we've been waiting on you too.
I appreciate
We've been
it.
in workshops and preparing and all of that. I tell everybody this about almost 10 years ago, my husband suffered a major stroke. My husband,
sorry.
Nate Fortier. And that time I was torn between the same thing you were saying. How can I take care of him and do this business? And I had an interview one day, and I was driving like crazy to get there. My manager said, they want to see you. They call for you. And so I'm driving to get there, and my husband has an appointment for therapy. So I had to try to fit that in that window that I didn't know was going to happen. Drive all the way from the valley over into LA, do the audition, get back home in time to get him to therapy. And as I was driving there, nothing was right. Nothing. The traffic was a mess. There was no parking. And when I got there, unlike you, the casting director was on a phone call about her Christmas experience. She'll probably never cast me in anything. And we were sitting out in this little office waiting and waiting. I'm watching the clock. My stomach is turning and my head is not there, and so by the time I got in there, her camera didn't work at the last minute. Just things. And on the way home, I said the verse that resonated in my spirit and my soul was, you cannot serve two masters at one time. You will either love the one and hate the other, or hate the one and despise. I just knew then that I had to step aside and take care of what was first, which was my husband. I say all that to say, it took about 5 years of caring for him before God gave me the clearance to say, okay, you can start going back into the business again. And I said, my attitude is, I've never done anything in this industry ever before. I am not Dwan Smith. I am a new actress. I'm starting, because 5 years is a long time. Trends change, the kind of looks, the way people speak. And so I began with the commercial workshop. And so when I started with that workshop, then I started working my way up to other things, being able to go see myself on camera again and study and work and do that. So we are out there studying and waiting for you, Paulara, and waiting for you, Joy. We are waiting for you. And we are, I think Oprah says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are preparing. God
Thank
is
you.
preparing us
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
My goodness, you make us sound so impressive. I'm pretty impressed with us right about now.
But you
You
do. You
I'm
have to
pretty
be ready.
impressed.
You have to be ready. There's no science. There is no blueprint. It's faith and timing.
It is.
Faith
It
and
is
time.
And my
that.
grandmother always said, God bless her, she said, if you are ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yes.
If you
So,
are ready, you
yes.
don't have to get ready. So in a minute, we're going to hear some more music from the play. And so, because I understand that, how long was the whole, when did you just say, okay, we're going to do it? How did you decide to set a date, and what was that process like?
Okay, I'm on the board of the museum.
Oh, okay.
And being up there, it was like we had all this space and nothing to fill the space. And on the calendar.
Right.
And we needed something that would bring in some money to that museum.
Wow.
Because so many things they do at the museum are free to the public. And so many people don't know they're there. And I wanted to bring new life, new blood to it. I wanted people to know, and I wanted something that people would attend. And I felt that a play is something they would attend.
Right.
And I felt if the tickets were $20, $20 is doable. $20 is doable. $10 is better, but we need 20 because we need $20. So I said, well, let's just do this and let's and see what happens. And as I was saying this, one of the ladies on the board said to me, because we had done the play in December and we did it for $50 because it was a fundraiser.
Right.
I said, y'all, and we did it as a reading in December.
Yes.
And I said, if I had a stage, if I had this, if I had, if. So the lady on the museum, Miss Betty Johnson, said, my husband's going to build you a stage. I said, I'm sorry? She said, my husband's going to build you a stage. I made that man a peach cobbler. And he built me a stage.
I love
And
it.
when
I
Mr.
love it. I love it.
And his name is Gene Johnson, but I call him Mr. Betty. I say, Mr. Betty, thank you for building me a stage. He said, what else you need? I said, I need some money up in here. He said, ain't got no money, but I can get you a stage. So that man came into that museum, and he's retired. Had his friends come in who are retired, and they fixed the electrical that was in there.
Wow.
They fixed the stage. They glued the carpet down. They painted, patched the walls. I said, you know what? I got 3 peach cobblers to make.
Wow.
So I made some peach cobblers. And I said, if I had some money, I'd give y'all some, but I got peaches. So y'all gonna have a peach cobbler. And I was just so happy that they did that. And then I was saying, okay, y'all, I'm a writer. I am not a director. Now, I directed the last piece because I couldn't find nobody. So I asked a very, very, very dear friend of mine, Fred Thomas Jr., to direct this project. And Fred said he was going to direct it for me. He was one of the original What's Up Boys. And he has won an NAACP Image Award. And he was doing all this stuff. Fred said he was going to direct my play. And then we got ready to get started. Fred called me and said, girl, I'm working on R&B Divas. I can't work for Peach Cobbler no more. I said, oh, boy. I said, Fred, I love you and I understand that and I ain't mad at you.
Right.
So I said, well, it looks like I'm directing. Now, as I say this, I am going to exercise class with a young lady in there named Marilyn Sue Perry. And Marilyn's in there and she talks like this and she says, hello, diva. And I say, hello. And I say, she's an actress. Maybe I can get her to be in the play. This is what I'm thinking. And somewhere or another, she goes, yes, I'm directing the children. I said, directing? You're directing? And she said, yes. And I said, Marilyn Sue, I got a play. I said, I got directing for you to do. And she said, well, let me read it first. And I'm like, read it first? Just tell me yes. She said, let me read it first.
Yes.
So she read it and she called me back. She goes, Diva, I think I can be persuaded to direct this. And I said, okay, fine. So I called Joy. I said, we got us a director. Okay. Yes, and I said, now we got to get us a cast. And I said, I don't want people coming to my house that I don't know to audition. How are we going to do this? So a friend of mine named Sydney McCurdy. Sydney was working on a project called A Cloud So High, and she's the casting director on that project. So Sydney called me up and she said, Paulara, over at Cast Studios, I need somebody to be my assistant while I'm working on this feature film, and the only person I can think of is you, because I can work with you and you can work with me, because when all else fails, I am the assistant to end all assistants.
Right.
So I said, I'll go over there. So I'm over at Cast Studios, and I'm like, wait a minute. I think I can have my auditions here at Cast Studios.
See, God opens doors, does
Yes,
he?
yes.
Because he already knew that
Yes.
this is a divine
Yes,
appointment
yes.
that you were going to keep. You didn't know it.
I didn't know
But
it.
when you said, I'm going to step out on, what
Yes.
was the word you
Faith.
used? Faith.
I'm going to step out and I'm going to do it. So I went up to Cast Studios and I said, look, my friend is casting this feature here and I have a play. And they said, well, you can use our space for casting. I said, I can use your space. Yeah, Paulara, you've been nothing but nice to us. So I made them a 7-Up cake and I took the 7-Up cake up there. And I had all the little...
You have baked your way to
fame. Girl, I done
fame.
baked my way. I done made a 7-Up cake and all the little white girls, all the little skinny white girls talking about, what's this? What's this? Eat it. Eat it and you'll get a booty. Eat it and you will get a booty. So I made the 7-Up cake for the little white girls. They ate the 7-Up cake and they let me have auditions up there. And that's where we discovered Dwan. And when we discovered Dwan, who was so gracious, because I don't know what happened, somewhere or another in the audition when Dwan was there, either somebody got skipped or somebody... I don't know what happened.
Oh yeah, the guy had a job. He had to go to a job. He was on his lunch hour, and
yeah.
So he asked me if he could, because he was just sitting there sweating, and I saw the poor baby, and I said, okay, he's supporting his craft, because to be in this business, you have to support it. You have to,
And so Dwan was gracious enough to let him go before her, and I thought, well, how sweet is that? That's sweet. So I thought that was very nice. So he came in and did his thing, and he was very, very good. But he wasn't the young man we cast, but he was very good. So what I did is all of the people who came to audition that we did not cast, I called every last one of them and invited them to the play for that Sunday show. They don't have to pay.
Oh, that is so gracious of you.
Because they, too, gave us of their time and talent.
Right.
If we did not use them for this project, there might be another project, because my goal and my vision is to do something where the people that I work with are people that will continue to work. If I work, you work. We all eat steak. I ain't eating steak and you eating chicken. We all eat steak.
I love it. And we talk about that in the play. But you know what? Just realizing your dream like this is so important, and being a part of it. Because we all feel we're all indebted to one another. This is a thing that we do because God calls the body of Christ. It's time for us to all be together, and that's what we do.
The quality of sharing.
The quality of sharing. And girl, we having church up in here. Church is all over the place. We don't have to wait. So we're going to go to a break right now, and we'll come back and we're going to talk some more. I am so excited. I don't have to go down my list of questions. You guys are. Absolutely. This is under the anointing, so thank you. Praise God. LA Talk Live. Call in, callers.
Hi, this is Barbara Perkins, inviting you to join us every Sunday afternoon at 2:40 for Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women. Join us as we share stories about current events, jazz events, business opportunities, health and wellness, entertainment, and so much more. So don't forget to tune in Sundays at 2:40, exclusively on LaTalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, or watch and listen directly at LaTalkLive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our new show, Gospel Rhythms Talk Live. Join us as we celebrate, promote, and elevate Christians and Christians in entertainment. So don't forget to tune in to Gospel Rhythms Talk Live exclusively on LaTalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio under R&B or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is Gospel Rhythms on LA Talk Live, where we don't just talk about it, we are about it.
Hey, shout us out. What's the count? I'm your host, Ferran Dozier. I'm inviting you to join me on WDC Radio every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as we discuss community topics around health, sports, and entertainment. So don't forget to shout us out. What's the count? On WDC Radio, only on LaTalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, or watch us on Ustream.tv. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we're more than just talk. What's the count?
Hello, we're back with you today on LA Talk Live. We're talking about crises that test our faith, and we are dealing with from the page to the stage because we have with us the producer of from Greater Later Productions, She Who Finds a Husband, and also the writer, E.N. Joy, who is just the most incredible, spiritually gifted kind of writer. And we just have this interesting combination here. Paulara, just because she was a stand-up comic for many years, has won all kinds of awards. She told me on break, Joy told me to be on my best behavior. She said, don't act up. And then she turned around and said, because she laid hands on me. So it's been so much fun, challenging in here. One of the songs that we have in the play is "The Devil Is a Liar," and what is that about? The devil is a liar. In what context are we talking about other than everything else?
Well, basically, with the play, there's a lot of lying going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. And you know how it's just becoming a cliche now. The devil is a lie. But folk be lying too. It ain't just the devil. So if you really listen to the words, you think it's the typical cliche, the devil is a lie. But we talking about folk in this song.
Tell us about the folk in this place. Tell us give us a little synopsis. We don't want people to get the whole story, but what is this play really about?
She Who Finds a Husband, New Day Temple of Faith, the fictitious town of Malvonia, Ohio.
Yes.
There's Mother Doreen, and she sees all these single men and women just running around, and they just going this way and that way, and single mamas trying to find daddies for their babies and a man, and just everything. So she goes to the pastor, and she kind of like pitches him the idea of
is it all right if we do a singles ministry, please, Pastor, with your blessings?
I love
Can
it.
we do the singles ministry so that we can bring the single ladies together with the single brothers? Would that be okay, Pastor?
Yes, exactly. That's what happened. Yes. And so the pastor gives her the go-ahead, gives her the green light. And so Mother Doreen has this vision, and she's going to support these single men and these single women on how to be single and how to date, and the do's and the don'ts, and avoiding the appearance of evil and whatnot. And so a lot of people join, but it's just women. It's all women. And they come in there and they looking around. We don't want no support. We want a husband up in here. And so Mother Doreen's vision, needless to say, goes astray. Because these women, they don't want to be supported. Not in the way Mother Doreen has vision.
Nor she does not understand.
They want to be supported by the man. They want that Herb dead and nails dead and, you know.
And and speaking of that, you as a writer, this is the first time you have been on stage as an actress.
Yes.
So you get to play a character. How does it feel for you? You said the other day it just was so amazing to see your work come alive in front of you with the other characters. But then you have a double treat. How does it feel to see you come alive as your own creation?
I feel like it's an outer body of experience, because during the reading in December, I just came because I wanted to see my characters brought to life. Right. I was just here to sit in the audience. Well, while here, the person who was supposed to play the character of Helen, which is the church Vixen. She's just so messy, so messy. She had another engagement she had to attend, so she actually dropped out. And so now we're on the frantic, who's going to be Helen? And we have to find somebody to do Helen. And then, of course, PR. Well, you wrote Helen. You know Helen. You be Helen. I just write. I don't talk and all of that stuff. And, well, it's just a reading. You can read the words. You know the words. You helped write the words. So, needless to say, I became Helen in the reading.
And she was the best Helen. Sometimes things happen because they're supposed to happen.
Right.
And she was supposed to be Helen. She was supposed to fly up this weekend. She was supposed to be Helen. So all I do is just write. What's the conversation we had in the car? What is the conversation we had in the car? People are not just You're not just a writer.
Right.
You are a writer and a creator and an actor. You all that.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Helen, there's a time and a place for everything.
That's right.
And if not in the house of the Lord, my God, where else can I bear myself and humble myself before the Lord?
That's what I'm talking about.
After all, I was a sinner. Now I'm a saint.
Oh,
God knows that. And he also knows that every sinner has a future and every saint has a past.
Hello. That's some of the stuff from the play. You have got to come. You have
and
got
tell your
to
friends with $20. If they don't have $20, leave them at home. Only bring your friends with $20.
On Thursday night, the 26th, for the opening. On Saturday night at 6:30 for the play, promptly at 6:30, and on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock for the matinee. And that's at the Macy's in the Crenshaw Center, Baldwin Hills Center, right here. And so there's no reason you can't get over here. But you know what? I before we run out of time, there are two questions I really want to ask, and these we're going to have a short answer on one and a longer one to take us out on the other one. How does it feel, Paulara, to be in the skin you're in right now?
Oh, it's amazing. My skin is very interesting because the space I am now, I'm almost at peace with me.
Wow.
I'm almost at peace with what we're doing. And I know you're not asking this, but I've lost 112 pounds.
Praise God.
So the person I am is not the person I used to be. So y'all got this food in front of me. I got issues. I ate all the popcorn I wanted.
But I brought low calorie things.
Yes, you did.
I thought
yes,
about
you
you told me that.
Girl, I almost put peanut butter on top of it though, because I still have issues. But to be in the skin I'm in now, it means the space I'm in.
Yes.
And I'm in a much better space because even though I don't go to church every Sunday, even though I am not one of those people, how you doing? Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. I really am blessed and highly favored.
Yes.
Amen.
There are so many things that have happened for me. There are so many things that have happened near me and dear to me that I can only be blessed and highly favored. So I'm happy with where I am in my life right now. I'm just sitting here thinking that I got 14 people doing a play and all I had was peach cobbler and a smile. I'm sitting up here begging because I keep telling people the reason I named my production company Greater Later Productions is roll with me. It's going to be greater later because I don't lie. I will lie, but I tend not to. So what I'm saying is if you roll with me, I know who was right with me,
right,
and I will be right by them.
You invest in us, and we are investing in you, and God is invested in all of us.
That's right.
So what about you? What about the skin you're in? Because I have one more question for both of you. How does it feel to be in the skin you're in right now?
It feels good now. Ironically, my book that's coming out is called I Ain't Me No More.
Wow.
And it's actually Helen's book.
Wow.
It's actually based upon the character of Helen.
Yes.
And it was going to be the very first book in the series. And I had started writing it, and I was 65,000 words in when God shifted me to She Who Finds a Husband.
Okay.
And I've learned you cannot win an argument with God, so you just stop and you just do it. And so 9 books later, we're bringing Helen back, and I'm Helen.
Yes.
No, I'm really Helen. As God began to give me the story and dictation, I said, that is me.
From your past.
Yes.
The erotic books and all of that kind of stuff.
Everything about her in this book, it's me. I made up some things and I changed some names, but that was me. And at the time, I wasn't ready for that because I was still me. I was still in that very dark place and where misery loves company and you're too happy for me because this happened and I deserve to be mad and I deserve to be angry, and because you did this I get to hold on to that and I get to treat you bad. I have a reason to treat you bad because I'm not letting go of this pain you caused me. This justifies me being in that dark place.
But God changed your heart.
And now I ain't me no more.
I love it. I love
She's
it.
very talented, my friend.
I like this skin. And it's obvious. She tells me that she's a skinny girl with long hair.
And I love it.
I tell her I act like a skinny girl with long hair.
She says, I act like I'm a skinny girl with long hair. And she strips me down every time I come here. You don't need that bright red lipstick. And why are those earrings so big? And why do you have on that cut? It takes away from who you are. It takes away from face. People can't see you. And I said, that was the purpose.
That was the purpose, to go into your skin and find.
I wanted you to look at the big earrings. I wanted you to only see then you couldn't see me.
Right.
Wow.
But since I ain't me no more, hello.
Here I am. And before we run out of time, I just want to ask you one last question, just quickly from both of you. When you've penned your last play, your last book, and when you've produced your last, when you've made your last production and last time on the stage, what would you like to leave behind as your legacy?
A legacy of fairness, a legacy of having treated people the way I wish some people had treated me. Because I know a whole lot of people with a whole lot of money and a whole lot of connections because it's LA. We all know that those people. But I've always felt like those people shoulda, woulda, and coulda, and didn't. So I want to be the person that does. I want to be the person that my word is my bond. I want to be the person that if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So don't you ain't gotta ride me. I said, so that means I will. So that's the legacy I want to leave behind.
And you?
Wonderful. My legacy is deliverance.
Yes.
And believing it and walking in it. Because sometimes we go to that altar and we fall out. And some people run around the church and they're throwing up in the trash cans and they're getting covered with the cloth and dabbing their head, and you think you're leaving it there. And then a month later, you feel like you're back to your old self. But God is powerful. So if he says you are delivered, you are delivered. What you experience is an impression. Because see, the devil, he can't mess with your future. He can only leave an impression.
Exactly.
So that is an impression. It's not real. So you just have to know that deliverance is real and that you make that choice
and
to
that
walk
you're
in
walking forward
Yes.
in the Spirit, in God's word.
Yes.
I say that's so funny. There's an old saying that said, "We the few, challenged by the many, have done so much for so long with so little that we can now do anything with almost nothing."
Yes.
And that's what you guys have done. And God has blessed us all because with him, all things are possible.
All things.
All things are possible. We don't have to be small. We know that the size of your problem is just an indication of the size of the victory that's to come.
Yes.
And we are overcomers. We have big problems. We have big victories. And the enemy's always going to fight us the hardest when we are closest to our victory and closest to birthing our victory. You know that pain you go through in childbirth, that's just the pain that comes before. You had pleasure before in making that, you carried that for a while, and now you have to birth it. And that birthing is a painful process. But when it's done, you look at that beautiful thing that you delivered.
Yes.
And our birthing process comes in different things. We birth dreams, we birth projects, we birth films, we birth plays. So I am so excited that you have taught us, and I think one of the things I've learned through Mother Doreen is to be a prisoner of hope.
Oh, yes.
To dream and not become a prisoner of your past. To be an encourager and not focus on your loss, because she got all turned around when she got caught up in it, but she had the spirit. She was divined by God, and she got the Spirit to get down on her knees and ask for forgiveness and direction.
Yes.
So that has ministered to me so much, and I want you guys I want people, listeners, please come out to the play. There is a word for you in this play. There's laughter and fun and joy, and you will see yourself. But Mother prayed for her own forgiveness, and you will understand that process. And also, I was so pleased that you mentioned mental illness. That's a problem that we have in the community that people don't often like to deal with. But through your work, you're ministering in so many areas.
Yes.
So I'm just so happy that we are able to be here and share this time with you. And I want to thank, I really want to thank our wonderful engineer, Van Eric. I want to thank Story X for coming to take the pictures. My wonderful assistant, Chioma, because she's my right hand. She reminds me to put my head on when I walk off without it. And also Sabrina. These young people, she's here as Barbara's right hand. And Barbara Perkins had this vision. So we are in the place. And there was someone who had the vision of LA Talk Live. So these are these visions connecting, and God has us here by divine appointment at this time. And I'm so pleased that you guys came.
Thank you.
I can't wait to go back to work and remember all our lines again. Thank you today for joining us on Sisters at the Well, and we will be back again next Sunday at the same time. LA Talk Live, Sisters at the Well. It's your opportunity to be here, your opportunity to grow and to learn about what's going on around the community and share with others. So we'll see you again. We love you. We love you, love you. God loves you, and you're important to us. So be back again, okay? Have a blessed week. Have a blessed week.